We're in Comstock Park at Speciation Artisan Ales.
Yep.
And Artisan is Mitch Ermatinger. He's the man who makes high quality beer in small amounts.
Yep.
And the ale?
The ale.
Oh, let's check out the ale. What is your ale?
This is a golden sour with black currants.
Ooh. That looks like a fruit punch almost.
It is quite fruity.
So this is the ale. Tell us about the speciation. What goes into this ale?
Yeah, so these are wild ales. They're fermented with wild microbes. So most beer is fermented with a single strain of yeast that's just multiplied over and over and over again. We use wild versions of that yeast, as well as some lactic acid bacteria, which is totally common and normal. It's in all kinds of fermented foods. So I specialize in open fermentation and just the culture, the mixing of those cultures to create this product.
So this is the ale. Can you show us the process that goes into the speciation?
Absolutely.
All right. Lead the way.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Mitch, this is the first time that I have seen cheesecloth
Yeah.
as part of the brewing process. Tell me what's going on here.
So we use a method called open fermentation. It's been used for centuries. It's been used for ages, really. And it allows for maximum yeast expression. There's nothing holding it in. And also it helps to inoculate the beer with just yeast from the environment. So we can pull this back here and you can take a peek inside. And so this is what open fermenting beer looks like.
Wow.
And this is a darker beer that's intended for maple syrup bourbon barrels.
So when did this go in?
This went in this tank 2 weeks ago. And so it's pretty young at this point. It'll probably age for an additional 3 to 4 months, would be my guess. But I'll let the beer tell me when it's ready.
So is there a wort, or how are you producing this?
Yep, so we produce off-site at different breweries around town, and then that's the unfermented product, and then we transport it here and pitch our yeast and bacteria and do all the fermentation here. So we kind of skip the hot side of brewing and jump right into fermentation here, because that's really what I specialize in more than anything else.
So take me through the yeast production part of this. How do you find those cultures?
There's a lot of different methods. Mine isn't super scientific, but basically I take unfermented beer and I put it in a series of mason jars and I put cheesecloth on top and let it sit out overnight or maybe for a couple hours. And then I put tin foil on the top and just track those mason jars. So most of them grow mold, which is no good. So 90% of the samples are out the door right there. But the ones that do make it and they can ferment and make alcohol, those are the ones that I step up. So I'll take that little mason jar and I'll make a 1 gallon batch. And then if that tastes good, then I'll make a 5 gallon batch, and so on until you get up to 350 gallons like this batch. So it's a very labor intensive process and it takes a lot of time. And most of the time you'll end up in failure.
Why do you want to brew this way?
Brewing this way opens up the doors to so many different styles. I mean, it's an unlimited amount of variation that you can get out of, you know, wild organisms. There's all these organisms out there that can make beer and we're only using, you know, in commercial beer, we're only using a couple. So I figure why not explore the range of organisms that can make beer? And that just leads to all kinds of experimentation and all kind of variants. Every single batch is going to be different from each other, so it'll just be a work in progress forever, and I like that. My goals are not to take over the world or even Michigan. I just want to make really high quality product in really small batches and, survive off of that. That's my whole goal. So if it goes crazy, I probably won't be able to keep up. And so I'd really just like to keep it super small batch.
All right, well, the taste buds are always telling of how well you'll do. I called it fruit punch before.
Yeah.
It smells almost like a fine wine.
It's definitely in the same vein. Cheers.
Cheers. That is very good.
It's really fruity, really fruit forward. So this is that black currant beer. And I added a lot of black currants to this. As you can, this started out as a very pale beer, and it is now purple. So that's just one thing that I like to play with. I love fruited beers, and I just wanted to make something that was very obviously fruited. And it really blurs the lines between beer and wine and cider and alcoholic, fermented beverages. So this is kind of trying to push those boundaries a little bit.
Well, Mitch, here's to you, the artisans of the world.
Cheers.
Cheers.